gallon. That's 3 cents lower than yesterday. Arizona is at $4.33 on average, also down 3 cents from yesterday. And a bit of good news for people that are looking to buy a new home. Mortgage rates have dropped for the second week in a row. It's been such a tough time, so a little bit of relief.
So
maybe.
According to Freddie Mac, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged about 5% last week. It was like a hair shy of 5%. It's the first time since April that the rates have been less than that 5% mark. But it is still a lot higher than this time last year when it was less than 3%.
Wow. The
start of the year is when rates began to spike. They hit a high of almost 6% in mid-June. Since then, economic concerns have made them more volatile. So what does all of this mean for sellers? Here in the Valley, we're already seeing houses sitting for longer and prices dropping. So in such an unpredictable market, how do sellers know how to properly price their homes? Always so much to talk about in real estate now. So joining us to chat about that and more is HomeSmart designated broker Rich LaRue. Rich, good morning and thanks for being here.
Good morning.
So let's talk about it. Is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market right now? What do you think?
Well, we're in transition. It isn't really a buyer's market yet, but it is certainly not the seller's market that it was a year ago or even 3 or 4 months ago. Prices are parachuting down and not spiking downward like one might think. And so, some of the tips of what sellers may want to consider is hiring a real estate professional to help them price the home, navigate through the market as prices fluctuate. And then also, of course, look at the homes that have actually sold recently in their neighborhood or as nearby as possible. But be very mindful of when those properties sold, because again, if your neighbor sold their house for $800,000 3 months ago, that isn't necessarily the value that it is today because interest rates have spiked upwards, even though they've settled down a little bit, and buyers have less buying power in the marketplace today.
So how long do you think this cool down is going to last? Do you think prices will continue to drop more?
Well, ultimately, I think that we're going to get back to, what we might be able to consider a normal market, whatever that is, because the last 2 years and these prices have not been normal at all. It's just been a furious and insane market price-wise. And some of the prices that were paid were pretty wild. And so I think that we're going to see a settling in these prices. And we're also going to see a little bit of a settling in interest rates as well. But I doubt that we'll see the sub 3% that we enjoyed for that year or so. That
a lot of people took advantage of that with refinancing or purchasing.
Absolutely.
We've got on your screen some tips for sellers. So as far as pricing right now, do you think it's worth doing like quick renovation projects or quick kind of fixes on the house? I know, before it was like, hey, just kind of sell as is. What do you think now?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, it's although pricing is absolutely critical, now it's even more important to have your home ready for sale. You need to make that first impression. The first impression is really the only impression that a buyer's going to get. You want to make sure that you don't cut corners. You want to make sure that the beds are made and the floors are cleaned and the pets are put away. And please pick up the dirty laundry. You can't imagine what we've seen over the years.
Oh, gosh. So how long right now is it taking an average house to sell in the Phoenix market?
Well, it's anywhere from, we've seen the numbers jump from what seems like 7 hours from the time it hits the market to about 17 days, give or take a little bit until it goes under contract. And that's going up just a little bit because it's taken a little longer for properties to sell. We're also experiencing more inventory, more active inventory in the marketplace.
Last question for you. If I'm sitting on the sidelines, right, I've got about $500,000 I want to spend. Do I wait to see if prices drop even more or do I pull the trigger now? And it doesn't matter if it's $500,000 or $300,000 or $700,000, whatever it is.
Isn't that always the question? Do I wait to buy real estate? My opinion has always been buy real estate and wait, because the market fluctuations long term, you will always make money with real estate if you're in the market long enough. Don't wait. Now's the time.
Rich LaRue joining us now with HomeSmart. Rich, great advice this morning. We appreciate it. I'm sure we'll call you back on because there's always something to talk about with the housing market.